Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about one of my all-time favorite topics. It is how do you reach those notoriously hard to reach target markets? This is what we do at 2112 Marketing. We help businesses with complex, seriously hard to reach target markets generate consistent pipeline. And today I'm going to talk you through some of the tactics, some of the strategic overview behind how we accomplish that and how we've accomplished that successfully over the last 10 years and counting. Let's go get it. So before we get into the good stuff, let's talk about some of the results and why you should listen to me on this topic. So at 2112 Marketing, we have helped everyone from super yacht designers to geospatial data engineers, tech companies, financial services firms, reach, engage, and convert their ideal target audiences. Now, these are some seriously complex businesses who are also targeting complex target markets. They often come to us and they say things like, our market is completely unmarketable. They're completely resistant to everything we have tried so far. What we give them is the antidote to this. We show them how to market to people who don't want to be marketed to. And we help them convert those people into warm, qualified pipeline that their sales teams absolutely love. In terms of results, we have achieved this, as I've said, in a myriad of different industries. Now we're specifically focused more on tech and financial services. But to give you an example of one of our clients, we worked with a 30-year-old educational technology company, and over the course of 24 months, we increased their sales by 80% as their sole marketing agency, and they had no internal marketing resource either. And today, I'm going to talk you through that case study, but I'm also going to talk you through the tactics and the strategy we applied to help them achieve that. So here's the issue. When you're talking about high net worth individuals, ultra high net worth individuals, or senior leaders at enterprise level companies, they're very, very difficult to get hold of. So you're very unlikely to be able to acquire data around them. And even if you can, they are not interested in receiving cold email. That's even if you can get through their spam filters, for example. And cold calls are difficult. The other thing you've got to consider is that if you're being very direct, you're ignoring a huge part of your target market. So most data suggests that only 5% of your target audience are in buying mode at any one time. So if you're going to them with direct, very product-focused messaging, the other 95% of your target market are just going to ignore it because it's not top of their agenda, or it's not even on their agenda, right, to consider your product or service. Now, you might get lucky with the 5% of people who are in market, but again, your odds are very small. You need to go through a more nuanced process to reaching them. And in my previous videos, I've spoken about this. I've spoken about how do you take someone from being brand unaware, where they have no knowledge of your brand or who you are, into being a warm sales qualified lead. Well, that's a journey with multiple steps in B2B. The other thing you need to consider is that B2B buying centers aren't made up of one person. It's not like e-commerce where you're selling to one consumer. You are selling into companies who often have to go through 5 to 15 decision makers before they make a purchase at all. So you need to be influencing the whole buying center within this process. So let's talk about how you can achieve that. Okay, so we've spoken about the ineffectiveness of cold outreach in reaching senior decision makers. And trust us, we've tried it. It would be far easier, far quicker, and far more profitable for us if that worked. But it doesn't. The best way we have found to reach these individuals is through strategic partnerships. So the first thing we analyze with every new client at 2112 Marketing is who has access to their ideal client persona. And more importantly, who has the know, like, trust of that ideal client persona. So If you're looking at senior decision makers at enterprise level, who do they currently buy from? Who do they follow on social media? And who do they read, listen to? It might be journalists, it might be thought leaders in their industry or in another industry. And then we ask ourselves, how can we collaborate with those individuals? How can we piggyback off the know, like, trust they've already established with our ideal client personas to give us access to them? So there are different ways you can accomplish this. Some of these relationships can be referral partnerships, so you need to establish trust with the strategic partner and maybe offer them a commission of some form or a reciprocal arrangement where you can refer your clients back to them too. And this often works best when they are complementary, so they share your target market, but they're non-competitive. So you're not offering the same products and services. And we'll talk a little bit more about how you can identify them in a minute. So how do we identify who our ideal partners are going to be? Well, a great place to start is by asking your current clients. Or if you're a startup and don't currently have any clients, then ask your ideal prospects their thoughts on this subject. So what you want to understand is who is influential in their space. Who do they follow on social media? Who do they read? Who do they listen to? What events do they attend? Importantly, you also want to understand who their favorite suppliers are or who they aspire to work with. And you can ask for introductions to these people. So ask for those intros, because these individuals, whether they're suppliers or influential individuals, could be your ideal partners. Now, from there, what you can do is build out an ideal partner profile, what we call an IPP. Now, I'm going to drop a worksheet that you can fill out in the description that can be super helpful in terms of understanding who your ideal partners are in more depth. Then you're going to outreach those people to offer them potential collaboration opportunities. It's going to be win-win. It's going to be mutually beneficial because you have the same target market. Okay, so you're getting a good understanding of who your ideal partners should be. Now what I want to do is put it into context for you. Earlier on, I promised you a case study where we managed to increase the sales for an educational technology company by 80% using strategic partnerships, not marketing to end clients. So how did we do it? Well, the way we did it was by partnering them with their own clients. Now, this might seem like a cheap way to do it, but what we discovered was most other suppliers to their ideal audience weren't interested in co-marketing. They weren't aware that this was a good route to market. So what we looked at was who else had the trust of their ideal audience. And they were selling into enterprise level companies at director level. So their clients were people like AstraZeneca and PepsiCo. And so we thought about it and we thought, well, actually, their clients are household names and their peers will want to hear from them. So we used peer marketing to effectively fill their pipeline. Now, the way we did this was we went to their current clients, the people like the learning and development director at PepsiCo, and we asked if they'd be willing to co-create content with us. And these individuals were very willing, very able to create thought leadership content alongside our client. So we put together a series of webinars. We made them invitation only, and we invited other clients and we invited key prospects along to them. And these webinars were packed full of value. They didn't focus on selling our clients' product at all. They focused on providing value in terms of helping these learning and development directors upskill and better understand what their peers were up to. Over the course of 12 months, we hosted a number of these webinars. We hosted around 14 webinars in total. What we did with each webinar was we surveyed all attendees because everyone in the webinar was a thought leader in the space. They also had unique original insight to share themselves. So we asked them questions around, what their view was on the industry as it currently stood. We then took these insights and we used them to create more original content. And over the course of the first 12 months, we turned this into a 30-page white paper, which we then served into the wider target audience. And we said, hey, we've created a 30-page white paper featuring insights from industry leaders at companies such as AstraZeneca, PepsiCo, Deloitte, Danone, and of course, their peers wanted a copy of this white paper, which got us into conversation with our ideal clients. So it shows how peer marketing can be an incredibly powerful play. It also shows that sometimes your strategic partners are right under your nose. It could be leveraging your current clients. So fear not if you can't currently partner with your clients to co-create content. But even if you can, you might want to add other partners. And sometimes the best place to start is by analyzing your current pipeline. Analyze where your current leads currently come from. Most businesses have a great deal of pipeline from referrals. It's worth analyzing who your top referrers are and then trying to create more of them. It's also worth trying to prompt your existing referral partners to provide you with more leads. And sometimes that's just the case of communicating with them more frequently, educating them a little bit more on everything you can do. Now, to give you an example of that, we have a client who is a wealth management firm, and their top referral partners are solicitors and accountants. So we don't actually conduct any end client marketing for this wealth management firm. We simply try to get their existing referral partners to provide us with more leads by educating them. And we do that by providing existing partners with continuous professional development sessions where we help them identify when their clients are struggling with a financial planning issue, which basically educates them on how and when to refer to our client. We also go out and we try and create new partners from other solicitors and accountancy firms. And over the course of 2.5 years, we have created a community of over 300 referral partners. And now it's about nurturing them and slowly expanding that audience. And that has led to a 9 times return on investment for our wealth management client. So there are different ways of structuring it. And obviously with a highly regulated industry like wealth and the legal sector, there's no commission paid here. It is simply a value exchange whereby our client is helping educate them on how to provide a better service to their clients. And in return, they're front of mind for when these lawyers and accountants want to refer to a financial planner because they trust our client. They have become the authority in their eyes. So that can be a great way to go when you're looking to establish strategic partnerships. One thing I want to talk about is strategic partner enablement, because these type of partnerships are not set and forget. You can't just incentivize someone with, hey, you pass me leads, I'll pass you leads, or hey, I'll give you 10% of anything you pass my way. It just doesn't work. Although these are good incentives, by the time you've signed the deal, they've forgotten about you. Unless the absolute ideal opportunity for you drops into their lap, they're never going to refer to you. Now, what you want to do is constantly educate them on how, when, and why to refer to you. So you need to be providing them with social proof in terms of case studies. You need to be educating them on all the different services that you offer on a consistent basis. You can do this via regular events for partners. You can do it via newsletter communications. You should also do it through your social media content. This keeps you front of mind. It educates them. And over time, you will find that your partners will refer to you more. You also find you will naturally acquire new partners because they want to refer to you over your competitors because you provide them with more value. You also educate them a lot more on those important aspects of how, when, and why to refer to you. So make sure your partnerships aren't set and forget. The same goes for when you're creating co-marketing campaigns with these partners. Think about it from how do we extract as much value as we possibly can? So rather than hosting a one-off webinar, should it be a series with this partner? Should you be promoting it via social media? You both need to be promoting it via your newsletters, for example. So everything you do needs to be a joined up marketing strategy. It can't just be you relying on the partner to pass you business. You've got to be super proactive. It's not set and forget. Make sure you're enabling them. Make sure you have a strategy in place around your strategic partnerships. Okay, so this has been a whistle-stop tour on one of the tactics you can use to reach hard to reach target audiences. I have loads more examples I can share, so you can check out the 2112 website. You can get in touch with me if you want to understand more about establishing and enabling strategic partners. But what I will say is that this is one of the most effective ways to reach complex audiences, to reach audiences where they're extremely time poor, they're extremely senior, they don't want to waste their time in any way, shape or form. So they're going to trust referrals from sources they trust. They're going to only engage with marketing collateral from people and brands that they currently trust. They're unlikely to respond to cold outreach. What I'm also going to do is drop an article in the comments, which is an article I wrote for Forbes, which is about strategic partnerships and why they are the best way to reach these complex audiences. Guys, thank you for listening. I hope this has provided loads of value, and best of luck in establishing and enabling your strategic partners.